Don't give away the answer, but you know that show, don't you?
I don't think I know. I know the record. It's a good record, but I don't think I know the exact answer, mate.
Oh, all right. Well, you'll be surprised when you hear it.
Now, we're going to talk about sharing paradise, and my wife is going to talk about lovely Morag. What's that little cougar sound you've got there? Excuse me.
Hey.
That's it, Maxie's. But Maxie's got to take over. We're going to talk about the...
Maxie?
That's a horse, mate.
Oh, I thought it was a dog.
Morag's going to talk about for 3 hours. Is that okay? What time are you leaving? 10:30 tonight?
Yes, tell her that I'll just go and come back tomorrow morning for breakfast. Oh, by the way, those people can still ring through, want to know what telly show that was from. All the lines bar one are open, 9419 6969. Please take it away, Mr. Eggleman.
Sharing paradise I'm going to talk about. Morag's going to talk about the SES storm safety, but I'm going to talk about sharing paradise, which is fairly quick. Remember when you were, say, 30 to 45, you'd go on holidays? Sometimes you'd go with your wife and the family, but lots of times you'd go with 2 or 3 mates that you had, mates that you might have met through school, but also mates that your kids met through school. And you'd go up to Lennox Head or Nelson's Bay or down the coast, wherever, and you'd go on holidays, and you'd have your swim in the morning, and the wives go out and maybe get their hair cut, then you'd have your lunch and go to sleep. Then you'd go, where would you go over night time? You'd go to the local RSL, hotel or restaurant.
Couple of beers, 15 bottles of wine, away you go.
Couple of scotches. Don't make me laugh, I'll start coughing. But then you'd sit down and you'd think, you'd had a few drinks and you'd there with your 3 or 4 mates and you'd say, look, we should buy a house up here, we love it, all that sort of stuff. It's got great views and that sort of stuff. And Billy Bloggs might say, oh, you suggested it, why don't you organise it and we'll give you the money? Look, I've seen this happen a couple of times. You've got to pick the right people to go with because sometimes it doesn't work out. When you're doing the financials of it, you've got to make sure everybody contributes. You've got to make sure you go through a solicitor. It's really, really critical. When you get a house for 3 or 4 people, it's good. Okay, you reduce your mortgage, it's great. You get rid of your costs down to 3 or 4, how many are there. You're also going to use the house a lot more than when you're going to have it by yourself. But I've seen it over a period of time in Sydney. I've seen it happen, I'd say 4 or 5 times, where 2 or 3 times people get on well together, but then in the 4th or the 5th time, there's a bit of a blue, and then you end up selling the property and you end up not talking to your friends, and it's your friends that your kids are mates with. So it's so important when you want to buy a holiday house. When you're at the hotel, don't discuss it there and then. Make sure you go away, then discuss it 3 weeks later if you want to buy a home on your holiday house and enjoy it.
It's called the cold, hard light of dawn.
Mate, no doubt you've been away when you were young.
No, done all that, know exactly where you're coming from. I think that's the best advice I've heard in a long time.
Exactly, so you don't go into that. You really work out what you're going to do. Now, I'm going to put you on the Morag. She's going to talk about the SES storm, and I want to come back to you and talk about West Harbour when you're finished, okay?
Bear in mind, we finish at 4 o'clock.
I'll put you on the Morag now, okay?
Thank you. Morag, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Bruce.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Thank you for having me on your radio show.
My pleasure.
Now, this is Storm Safe Week. I'm a member of the North Sydney State Emergency Service, and we were hoping to give our message over on the community radio today about being safe in Storm Week.
Take it away.
Okay. This week we're trying to get people to be aware of how to look after yourself before a storm, because this is a storm season coming up.
Now, I think I know what to do here. You make sure that all the things that should be tied down are tied down, things like surf skis and
that's right.
Outdoor furniture. You make sure that all the trees are cut away, then you make sure all your gutterings are all cleaned out.
Yeah, I think the guttering and the drains are
they're the
almost
big things.
The most important thing, really.
Yeah, I mean, I do that as a matter of course. Everyone should do it, and that way, if you do the very easy things first, it's got to be something really bad that means you've got to pick up the phone and annoy you people.
That's right. Well, of course, and I mean, there's a lot of damage can happen to your house just with one loose thing lying around. So, when you know there's a storm coming, you should always be listening to your local community radio. They'll be able to tell you what the weather warnings are. You should always have a safety kit ready, an emergency kit with a portable radio and batteries and a torch and a first aid kit, things like that that can help you when the electricity is down.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, keep the children inside and the animals inside when you hear that warning coming, and get your family prepared. Talk about it beforehand and make sure that the family know exactly what's expected of them when in the middle of a storm. And of course, you don't go out and walk in the storm water or go through moving water or take the family
A
out.
lot of men do that. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, some people go out and go and have a bit of a sticky beat. They go around the area looking, having a bit of a sight-see, and all you're doing there is hindering the efforts of the SES and the police and the ambulance to get things done. So
the message is stay inside.
Yeah, stay inside. Get your emergency kit ready, and of course it's important to have an insurance policy as well. Make sure they're all up to date. Make sure the tiles on your roof are all sorted. Just general things like that. And
it's all fairly obvious things.
Yeah, it
really
should
that
be.
you've got to look after. Yeah,
it should be. But even people in units, people who live in units, and there's a lot of them living in the North Sydney area and around Chatswood area. They don't think that it's going to affect them, but in actual fact, balconies can be just as big a danger area as anywhere else, and sometimes the body corporate should get together and make sure that they plan an emergency. They should have an emergency plan themselves, so that the whole building knows what to do rather than just one or two people in the building knowing what to do. And the other important thing is to check on your neighbours, especially if you've got elderly neighbours or people with little babies. Make sure that they know what they're doing and that they're safe.
Sounds good to me. Good sound advice. Maureen, thank you for that.
Thank you. And just letting you know that the SES is always there for you during storms and floods. And
that number, Morag, is?
Sorry?
The number that they can call is?
The number, if you're in real trouble, is 132 500.
132 500.
500. And if you want to know more about the SES and you just generally want to know information about the SES, it's www.ses.newsouthwales.gov.au. And you can even find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Sounds good to me. Look, thank you so much for sharing that with us this afternoon.
Oh, thank you for listening to me. Okay.
My pleasure. That's for you.
How are you going, Mr. Potter? Do you know who I am, or has Morag replaced me?
Look, I can hear you coughing in the background there, but that's all right. I think I'll come around and shoot you after.
Yeah, we'll try and make sure you're not drinking the scotch when you've got the flood on or you've got a storm on, okay?
I will indeed. All right, my boy.
Now, just before you go, your nephew's playing for West Harbour tomorrow, isn't he?
He is. Young Nicholas and his mates are all playing for West Harbour against Eastern Suburbs. The kick-off is at 9:30am.
At 9:30, is it?
9:30am. Yeah, I'll be able to go over there, have a look, go home, do the washing, do everything, and then come back for the first grade.
I'm serious. At 9:30, that's at...
Concord Oval, and the gates open at 8:15.
I'm going to try and get there. I've got to look at a property at about 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock. I'm going to try and get there with you.
Look forward to seeing you there, because I think West Harbour could get up.
Now, before you get rid of me, next week, I was going to do it this week, but Morag wanted to talk. I want you to help me out with this. I want to talk about baby boomers. When we pass away and we give the kids our money, that's Generation X. Their kids are Generation Y. What's going to happen to the real estate market over the next 20 to 30 years? I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to ask me some next week about what's going to happen after we sort of move on to Jesus Christ.
I look forward to hearing and talking to you about that subject.
Okay, mate.
Hopefully see you tomorrow.
Okay, mate. I'll speak to you shortly, okay?
Go West Harbour.
We go West Harbour, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, mate. See you, Mr. Potter. Bye.
Bye-bye.